Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Now you can read from the.
Purport, no?
Yeah.
Through mental speculation, even the greatest philosopher cannot know the Supreme Lord, who is the absolute personality of Godhead. He can be known only by his devotees through his mercy. In the Brahma Samhita 5.34, it is stated that even if a non devotee philosopher travels through space at the speed of the wind or the mind for hundreds of millions of years, he will still find that the absolute truth is so far away from him. The Brahma Samhita 5.37 further describes that the absolute personality of Godhead has his transcendental abode known as Goloka, where he remains and engages in his pastimes. Aided by his unconceivable potencies, he can simultaneously reach every part of his creative energy. In the Vishnu Purana, his potencies are compared to the heat and light that emanate from a fire. Although situated in one place, a fire can distribute its light and heat for some distance. Similarly, the absolute personality of Godhead, although fixed in his transcendental abode, can diffuse his different energies anywhere.
Yeah. Thank you. So, the, so here, Prabhupada is saying that though the philosophers travel at the speed of mind, they cannot understand the absolute truth. So it may not literally mean they have to travel throughout the universe, but it's like they try to search, know who is God through scripture, by studying different scriptures, and based on those scriptures, they try to conjecture different ideas of God. So like that, they cannot actually understand the Supreme Lord. So that is what Prabhupada is saying. That is the Brahma Samhita shloka also says. So it, like yogis, they may also search, like through, they have that mystic potencies, so they can travel throughout the universe and such also. And the second contradiction, Prabhupada is saying that the Lord, though is fixed, he is able to control the entire creation through his energies. So that is the, so Prabhupada has in one sense has addressed it, but uh, he will discuss more deeply about these both concepts. Yeah. So the first contradiction is like, if something is fixed, if something is fixed in a place, it is no easy to know about it. If let's say somebody is staying at one place, so it's easy for another person to know about him, to inquire about him, and to interact with him, to observe him, all that. But here the and if somebody is like constantly traveling from one place to another, so it will be difficult to know about them now because of no connectivity, like internet connectivity and all. It is little easier, but otherwise, in general, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's, no, we see in Chaitanya Lila that when Mahaprabhu, let's say, travels to South India, then for the and he comes back to Puri, then they cannot know, they don't know where Mahaprabhu can. So throughout that period, it's difficult for them to know. So unless the personal servant of Mahaprabhu tells them, no, what all happened in South India, the devotees in Jagannath Puri don't know anything. And then, so that's why, so the point is, if something is moving, constantly moving and traveling here, there, something is not fixed, it's little difficult to know about it. And if something is fixed, it is more easier to know. But in Krishna, what is the thing? Though Krishna is staying in one place, it's very difficult to know about him. So that is because we cannot know by our desire. When Krishna shows his mercy, then we can know. Only by Krishna's mercy we can know about him. So with our own endeavors we cannot know about Krishna. So that is the concept. So so this is the Brahma Samhita verse. Pantastu koti shatavatsara sampragamyo vayoratapi manaso munipungavanu. Sopyasti yat prapad sin avichintya tatve govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord. Only the tip of the toe of whose lotus feet is approached by the yogis who aspire after the transcendental and betake themselves to pranayama by drilling the respiration, or by the gyanis who try to find out the non-differentiated Brahman by the process of elimination of the mundane, extending over thousands of millions of years. So either the yogis they try to get powers and they try to travel or entire universe, or the gyanis they try to analyze the material world and then see who's Brahman. So like that they speculate and all. Even now also there are philosophers who by logic they try to you know discuss on the concept of God, who can be God, what are the qualities of God. Means this is like independent of Shastra. Means or sometimes they may do based on Shastra, sometimes they may do independent of Shastra. Now also like there are different people who discuss on these things, they publish research papers, etc. Yeah. And here Krishna in this shloka tells clearly that how it's not possible to know Krishna just by scriptural study. But if one is a devotee, it is easy. No, Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam Adhyam Purana Purusham Navayavanam cha Vedeshu Durlabam Adurlabam Atma Bhakta Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajam. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is inaccessible to the Vedas, but obtainable by pure unalloyed devotion of the soul, who is without a second and who is not subject to decay, is without a beginning, whose form is endless, who is the beginning and the eternal Purusha. Yet he is a person possessing the beauty of a blooming youth. Now, this verse shows how Lord is fixed in one place. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabis Thabirya Eva Nija Rupataya Kalabi Goloka Eva Nivasati Akilatma Bhuto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, residing in his own realm, Goloka. So this verse shows how Lord is fixed in one place, in the Goloka, with Radha resembling his own spiritual figure, the embodiment of the ecstatic potency possessed of the 64 artistic activities in the company of her confident Sakhis. Embodiments of the expansions of her bodily form, permeated and vitalized by his ever blissful spiritual rasa. So these are the verses which shows, and this verse actually resolves that contradiction, that only through devotion Lord can be known. Otherwise, by one's own effort, it is not possible to know. So the Anuman Praman is we discussed in the introduction. So using logic, it can be done based on scripture or can be independent of scripture, but it can only point to existence of Bhagavan. So there are so you must have gone through device in the device first session or no whatever session it is now. So the can a scientist believe in God? So they use logic to indicate no that there should be God, like because there is a lot of organization in the world, so there should be someone who has done this organization, or there is a lot of intricate design, so there should be some designer, then artist, all these things. So that way, there are different arguments called as cosmological argument, teleological argument, the design argument. Like that, there are different arguments uh, that indicate that support the existence of God, but they indicate it, but they don't actually prove it. So we studied for proof we need either Shabda Praman or Pratyaksha Praman, and through logic you cannot it cannot give further details of Bhagwan, how he looks, what are his qualities, what are his activities. So those things through logic one cannot find out. So that way it is not possible by one's own endeavor. But it is possible when the Lord becomes merciful through devotional service. Matas, you can read this paragraph, although his energies are.
Although his energies are innumerable, they can be divided into three principal categories. the internal potency, the marginal potency, and the external potency. There are hundreds and millions of subheadings to each of these categories. The dominating demigods who are empowered to control and administer such a natural phenomenon as air, light, and rain are all classified within the marginal potency of the absolute person. Lesser living beings, including humans, also belong to the Lord's marginal potency. The material world is the creation of the Lord's external potency, and the spiritual sky, where the kingdom of God is situated, is the manifestation of his internal potency.
Yeah. So in Shvetashvatara Upanishad, this verse is there. Natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate, natat samas chabhyatikasya drishyate, parasya shaktir vividaiva shruyate. So parasya shaktir, so he has many multifarious energies. Subhaviki jnana bala kriya cha. So these energies only carry out the different activities of the Lord. So it's like a factory owner, if you know, like he has a huge factory, but and there are multiple CCTV cameras installed at different places, and all that CCTV cameras he can observe from his office, and the factory owner has lot of wealth. So through his wealth, he possesses so many things. Like he possesses the entire factory, he has bungalow, he has lot, and he has a phone, and through his phone he can call any he employs multiple people under him, and he can contact anyone and get something done through them. So a small factory owner, he though he's also staying in one place, and he's getting many things done, he's able to control many things, and he's able to observe many things. So if it is possible for a small, a tiny factory owner with a tiny conditioned soul. So it is obviously possible for the Lord to be omniscient. Omniscient means he is conscious of everything, and he can know who is doing what, who is thinking what, everything. He can even see in the dark night on a black rock. If a black cat is sitting on a black rock, Lord can see it. Though we cannot see it, but Lord can see it. And he's omnipotent, so he can get anything done. So he can, if he wants, a tornado can suddenly happen, or he can suddenly create huge palaces for Sudama, like in that past time we see. So like that, he is present everywhere, and he knows everything, and he can at once appear for to protect Prahlad. So that way Lord's energies are there. So that makes Lord omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent. So through these energies, though Lord is sitting in one place, Goloka, he is able to control everything. And there are many other energies, like here this shloka here Prabhupada explained about marginal potency and internal potency and external potency. But the energies are innumerable. So there are different ways of classifying energies. So like Sandhini, Samvit, Hladini, or Shri, Bhu, Nila, like that, there are different names and different types of energies of the Lord. Yeah, so what Prabhupada discussed is, so the energies of Lord, there is internal potency, and then there is marginal potency, and there is external potency. So marginal potency contains the living entities, and the external potency is the material energy, and the internal potency is the spiritual energy. Yes, Mataji, you can read this paragraph. Thus the different energies. Hare Krishna.
Thus, the different energies of the Lord are present everywhere. Although the Lord and his energies are non-different, one should not mistake these energies for the supreme truth. Nor should one wrongly consider that the Supreme Lord is distributed everywhere impersonally, or that he loses his personal existence. Men are accustomed to reaching conclusions according to their capacity for understanding, but the Supreme Lord is not subject to our limited capacity for understanding. It is for this reason that the Upanishads warn us that no one can approach the Lord by his own limited potency.
Yeah, thank you. So Prabhupada is speaking about two philosophies in this paragraph. So one is mistaking the energies for the supreme truth. So considering the energies are only God. So that is like Shaktas, like they worship the energy, they worship Devi or no Kali, all these things, Chandi or something. So they consider that only as supreme. So that is the Shakta philosophy because they don't have that propensity to serve the Lord, but they want to enjoy the energy of the Lord. So that is the thing. Or another thing is supreme truth is distributed everywhere impersonally. So this is Advaitavad, or you can say Mayavad. So that they say everything is Brahman. Means so there is no Lord doesn't have any energy, but they say everything we see is Brahman. So the living entities are also Brahman, the material world is also Brahman. So all that. So that is their philosophy. So so these two are like wrong conceptions. Lord is there, and Lord's energies are separate from the Lord, but and through those Lord controls everything. Yeah, our philosophy is Lord's energies, Lord, they are same in quality, but different in quantity. But both are there, Lord and Lord's energies. Yes, Mataji can continue in the Bhagavad Gita.
In the Bhagavad Gita 10.2, the Lord says that not even the great rishis and suras can know him. And what to speak of the asuras, for whom there is no question of understanding the ways of the Lord. This fourth mantra of Sri Ishopanishad very clearly suggests that the absolute truth is ultimately the absolute person. Otherwise, there would have been no need to mention so many details in support of his personal features.
Yeah. So if someone means if somebody is present at one place but he has energies, this all indicates personalism. So the first contradiction here is anejadamekam manaso javiyo na ena deva apnuvan purvam arshat. So even the demigods they cannot know him. Though Lord is fixed in one place, either through speculation and even demigods cannot know it. So the reasons are uh, our senses and intelligence are material. They are material and Lord is spiritual. So we cannot know from them. And uh, adding to that, our senses and intelligence are limited. Like our eyes only can see when there is light. So in that way, it is limited. And our memory is also limited. We cannot know many things and etc. We forget also. So that is one thing. And this, yeah. So in Bhagavad Gita, so it is also told that Lord, the Maya, the material energy of the Lord covers the living entities, so they cannot see the Lord. So deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, above, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. So it's like the clouds cover our eyes, so we cannot see the sun. So similarly, the material energy covers our consciousness, so we cannot uh, see the Lord. You cannot understand the Lord. So the divine energy of mind consisting of the three modes of material nature is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross my mind. So that's what it, and it is very difficult to overcome the material energy. So these are few reasons. And ultimate, and we have spiritual intelligence, but it is also limited. Yeah, we can understand scripture if we become a devotee, but we cannot fully know the Lord because again it is limited. And the ultimate reason is that the Lord is inconceivable, and Lord only by his own independent desire can reveal himself or hide himself. So, yeah, ultimately, like even if you take example of the popular people in the world and all, like unless it's difficult to know them. Like they have their own private life and all. It's not so easy to know them. So unless they tell it, we cannot know. So the same thing also applies to the Lord. Okay, so So this is about the first contradiction and how it is resolved. So you can discuss these things. So mention some pastimes where like someone got bewildered in trying to understand Krishna, and mention some pastimes where Krishna wantedly, hidden his identity. So you can think about for around 4 minutes and then we will discuss. Yes, for the first question, anyone answer? Okay, Deepika Mataji, you can answer.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Am I audible, Prabhuji?
Yes, yes, yes.
Prabhuji, so for first example, I would like to give when in Brahma Leela, when Lord Brahma, he has took Bal Gopals, and when he comes again back after a year, and he's got bewildered when he saw that all the Gopals are there already playing with Krishna.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, okay. Thank you. Yes. Okay.
And second,
Yeah, yeah.
and for,
First, we will hear from others. Thank you.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, Shweta Mataji, you can.
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, the other example can be Indra, that he also could not understand that He's Krishna himself in Govardhan Leela. So
Mm.
the entire pastime of 7 days and 7 nights of lifting Krishna, Govardhan, that happened because of Indra getting bewildered.
Okay, thank you. Yes. Okay, Ashish Prabhu.
And, Arjun was also confused and he asked to show Lord's real form, that
Okay.
who you are. Then Lord saw him, the Vishwarupa.
Okay, so that will more fall in second, but fine. Okay, fine. Thank you. Okay, Jayashri Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yashoda Maya gets bewildered when she watched a whole universe in the mouth of Krishna.
Yeah, that is there. That will more come in second, but fine.
Okay, second is also there.
I mean, second, where it's like Krishna purposefully
Purpose
hiding.
hide identity. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Of course, that can be told. Fine. Okay, Deepika Mataji.
Prabhuji, I already told. Another
Okay,
will be
okay, sorry.
Duryodhan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can tell. Okay, Duryodhan. Yes, good.
Yeah, Duryodhan, when Krishna goes there, Hastinapur as a Shantidut, then he thought he will kidnap Krishna. Then after seeing Krishna in every place, he also got bewildered.
Okay. Thank you. Yes. Okay, Mahadev Keshav Prabhu.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Keshav Kashmir Kand discussion.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Yes, Balraj Prabhu.
Prabhuji, the birth pastime of the Lord, wherein Devaki Maya and Vasudev were bewildered looking at the like forearms.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Yes. Okay, I think all are done. Okay, all are done. Okay, for second one, anyone wants to answer? Okay. Ashish Prabhu.
The Mohini avatar of Lord,
Mohini Murti. Okay,
where
good. Okay,
Lord
thank
has written his identity.
you. Okay, thank you. Okay, yes, Mahadev Keshav Prabhu.
Prabhuji, Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and discussing that there also.
Okay, yes, thank you. Priya Mataji.
Prabhuji, I think to all the Brajvasis, he didn't want to become as a god.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, that is fine. Soumya Mataji.
Prabhuji, after Brahma Vimo Leela, Krishna, became the Gopas and, cows, and nobody was knowing that it's all Krishna.
Yeah, with perspective of Vrajavasis. Okay, fine. Thank you. Okay, Deepika Mataji.
Prabhuji, when Lord took like in as a Vaman Dev when he came to Bali Maharaj.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Okay, Mahadev Keshav Prabhu.
Sorry,
Yes.
Prabhuji.
Okay, Balraj Prabhu.
Prabhuji, the Chaitanya Leela itself, like Lord didn't want to reveal himself as a Supreme
Yeah,
Personality.
okay, Channa Avatar.
Lord.
Thank
Channa.
you. Yes, thank you. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Brahma Vimohan Leela, and of course there are other pastimes of like Hanumanji testing Lord Ram. So initially Lord Ram also acts like a normal prince. Then because Hanuman comes in disguise, so Lord Ram also does not reveal to him. And Sati testing Lord Ram. So when Lord Ram becomes morose after Mother Sita was kidnapped, So Sati comes now to test him whether he is really the Lord, how he can become so much overwhelmed with grief. Yeah, Duryodhan trying to arrest Krishna, Mataji has told. So then, yeah, where pastimes where Krishna hid his identity. So this Shirchor Gopinath and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, devotees also have told. Yeah, Chaitanya Lila many, and yeah, this pastime of Govinji coming to Rupa Goswami, so this is also there. Yeah. Okay. Yes, Sangita Mataji can read from here, although the individual parts.
Although the individual parts and parcels of the Lord's marginal potency have all the symptoms of the Lord himself, they have limited spheres of activity and are therefore all limited. The parts and parcels are never equal to the whole. Therefore, they cannot appreciate the Lord's full potency. Under the influence of material nature, foolish and ignorant living beings who are but parts and parcels of the Lord try to conjecture about the Lord's transcendental position. Sri Ishopanishad warns of the futility of trying to establish the identity of the Lord through mental speculation. One should try to learn of the transcendence from the Lord himself, the supreme source of the Vedas, for the Lord alone has full knowledge of the transcendence.
Yeah, so because we are finite, we cannot understand the Lord, and because we have material senses and material intelligence, we cannot, there is no chance of knowing about the Lord. So therefore, one should abandon speculation about God and instead should try to learn from the Lord only, from the Vedas, which are given by the Lord. And Vedas are also too long, so one should also learn under the guidance of a spiritual master, which Prabhupada also tells in the introduction. Yes, Mataji, can continue every part and parcel.
Every part and parcel of the complete whole is endowed with some particular energy to act according to the Lord's will. When the part and parcel living entities forgets his particular activities under the Lord's will, he is considered to be in Maya illusion. Thus, from the very beginning, Sri Ishopanishad warns us to be very careful to play the part designated for us by the Lord. This does not mean that the individual soul has no initiative of his own. Because he is part and parcel of the Lord, he must partake of the initiative of the Lord as well. When a person properly utilizes his initiative or active nature with intelligence, understanding that everything is the Lord's potency, he can revive his original consciousness, which was lost due to association with Maya, the external energy.
So in this paragraph, so Prabhupada says it's not like if means surrendering to the Lord means when the jiva has to lose his free will. So the free will is always there, but the free will has to be utilized accordance to the laws of the God. So within devotional service also there is a lot of freedom. There are 9 processes of devotional service: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam. So the free will is always there. So and Lord also, there are different forms of the Lord. So always the free will is there, but it has to be utilized as per the directions of the scripture. So if that is done, so one will become free from the influence of material energy. And as one becomes free, so one can know about the Lord. Otherwise, if one is entangled in the material energy, it's not possible to know about the Lord. Yes, Mata, last paragraph.
All power is obtained from the Lord. Therefore, each particular power must be utilized to execute the will of the Lord and not otherwise. The Lord can be known by one who has adopted such a submissive service attitude. Perfect knowledge means knowing the Lord in all his features, knowing his potencies, and knowing how these potencies work by his will. These matters are described by the Lord in Bhagavad Gita, the essence of all the Upanishads.
Yeah, thank you. So Yeah, so these things are described, means knowing the Lord in all his features. So Lord, Paramatma, Brahman, Bhagavan, all these three features, and his potencies, the material energy, spiritual energy, and how these potencies work in the material world. So how the creation happens, how the universe is maintained. So all these things and the modes of material nature. The material energy operates through the modes of material nature. So all these things are there in Bhagavad Gita. So that is the thing. So yeah, here Prabhupada is saying that there is initiative. So Lord makes the perfect balance. Means Lord is, he gives the freedom for the living entity, but he also can control. That means he can control when the living entity is misusing his freedom. So Lord makes the balance between a centralized structure and decentralized. So it's always a challenge to maintain the proper balance, means how much to control and how much to give freedom. So both in parenting, governance, administration, leadership. So that is always a challenge, like how much to give freedom and how much to discipline and all. But Lord makes that perfect because he's omnipotent and omniscient, because he has the full power and he is conscious of everything. So he could do that. Yeah. So that's one. So that is another contradiction which Lord resolves, which Prabhupada also explained here. Yeah. So two contradictions we studied in this shloka. So one is that Lord is fixed in one place, but it is difficult to know about him. So the resolution is because we are material, we are limited, and we are influenced by the material energy. So it's difficult to know, and Lord can only be known by his will, his desire. If Lord desires, then we can know him. So that is possible through devotional service and surrendering to the will of the Lord. So that is explained in the Ishavasha principle. So that is the first thing. And second is, although in one place, Lord controls those who supply air and rain, he surpasses all in excellence. Means he controls the demigods and all, though being in one place. So he does it through his energies. That is the second thing. So in that way, the two things Prabhupada has explained. Okay. So now we'll proceed to the next verse. In these three contradictions are. Mata, so you can recite after me. Tadejati tannaijati taddure tadvantike
तदेजति तनैजति तद्दूरे तद्वन्तिके
tadantarasya sarvasya tadu
तदन्तरस्य
sarvasya
सर्व
bahyata.
तदन्तरस्य सर्वस्य तदु सर्वस्यास्य बाह्यतः.
The translation, the Supreme Lord walks and does not walk. So this is the first contradiction. Second is, he's far away, but he's very near as well. So the second one. And third is, he's within everything and yet he is outside of everything. So, yeah, let's read from Prabhupada and see how these are resolved. Yes, Mataji, you can read the first paragraph.
Here is a description of some of the Supreme Lord's transcendental activities executed by his inconceivable potencies. The contradictions given here prove the inconceivable potencies of the Lord. He walks and he does not walk. Ordinarily, if someone can walk, it is illogical to say he cannot walk. But in the reference to God, such a contradiction simply serves to indicate his unconceivable power. With our limited fund of knowledge, we cannot accommodate such a contradictions, and therefore we conceive of the Lord in terms of our limited powers of understanding. For example, the impersonalist philosophers of the Mayavad school accept only the Lord's impersonal activities and reject his personal feature. But the members of the Bhagavad school, adopting the perfect conceptions of the Lord, accept his inconceivable potencies, and thus understand that he is both personal and impersonal. The Bhagavatas know that without inconceivable potencies, there can be no meaning to the words Supreme Lord.
Yeah, thank you. So that's what, if Supreme Lord, if a human being can understand the Supreme Lord completely, then the supremacy of the Lord is doesn't make any sense. So the Supreme Lord itself means that he should not be completely understandable by others. So then only he becomes the Supreme Lord. So that's why there will be some element of inconceivability, some or a big element of inconceivability in God. So without that, there is no meaning of God. So the first thing is the Lord walks and does not walk. It is the inconceivable thing of the Lord. Yeah. Also, Baladev Vidyabhushan in his commentary he gives a little different meaning. He says Lord does not move away from his dharma of protecting his devotees. He says like that. Lord appears to be adharmic, but he does not move away from his dharma of protecting the devotees. So, like we see in the pastimes of, yeah, like he's breaking his no promise of not lifting a weapon to protect Arjuna. So that is an example of it. Yeah, this is a little different perspective. Yes, Mataji, you can read this next paragraph. We should not take it.
We should not take it for granted that because we cannot see God with our eyes, the Lord has no personal existence. Sri Ishopanishad refutes this argument by declaring that the Lord is far away but very near also. The abode of the Lord is beyond the material sky, and we have no means to measure even this material sky. If the material sky extends so far, then what to speak of the spiritual sky, which is altogether beyond it? That the spiritual sky is situated far, far away from the material universe is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 15.6. But despite the Lord's being so far away, he can at once, within less than a second, descend before us with a speed swifter than that of the mind or wind. He can also run so swiftly that no one can surpass him. This has already been described in the previous verse.
Thank you. So also in the first paragraph, Prabhupada told that no, it's a tendency that is it is a innate human tendency that to measure everything based on our existing understanding and thinking that no, there is nothing else beyond it. So that is a fallacy of human beings that that we can, like I know everything, so based on my knowledge only I try to measure everyone. So that frog example is there, that he knows about, he's staying in a pond, so he cannot, he thinks that no, it is impossible to have a ocean. The same thing, like the Mayavadis think, means the impersonalists or the Mayavadi school, so they think that the material world is miserable, means personality is there, means there is always misery, so therefore the God should be only impersonal. And another thing, they also think personality means there is always finite. Like if a person has a face, has a body, it is finite. But it is possible to have a body and to, but it is only the case in material body. But if it is a spiritual body, there is infinite. So there is possible of being infinite. So that they don't no, accept like that. So that's what our ability to measure things and now understand things is very limited. So therefore, we should try to accept what Krishna says through the scriptures instead of trying to measure ourselves. Then Prabhupada is saying the Lord is far away and difficult to understand, but if we, for the sake of his devotees, he can come anywhere. So, yeah, so you can think about some examples, some pastimes where Lord instantly reciprocated with devotees' fervent prayers. From Chaitanya Lila, Krishna, Bhagavatam, Ramayana, anyway. We can think for around 3-4 minutes and then we'll discuss. We can take 4 minutes and then we'll discuss. Okay, Jiva Jagata Mataji. You can tell.
Prabhuji, Lord responded to Gajendra's prayers.
Okay, yes. Oh, thank you. Next, Vidita.
Lord
Ashish
responded
Prabhu.
to Draupadi's prayers.
Okay, Brahmaji's prayers. Okay.
Draupadi.
Draupadi's prayers. Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, Ashish Prabhu.
Dhruv Maharaj.
Okay, Dhruv Maharaj prayer. It took some time, but yeah, fine. Okay. Okay, Deepika Mataji.
Prahlad Maharaj, Prabhuji. When
Prahlad Maharaj, yes. Prabhupada also is going to speak about that example. Okay, Jayashri Mataji.
Ambarish Maharaj's prayers for protection of Durvasa Muni.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Okay. Balraj Prabhu.
Govardhan Leela Prabhuji, where all the
Okay,
Brajvasis
Vrajavasis.
come to the
Okay.
Lord.
Of course, Lord is there only, but fine. Okay. Okay. Mahadev Keshav Prabhu.
Prabhuji, there is a Leela in Chaitanya Charitamrita. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji eat prasad when Sachimata offered in deities, like that Leela.
Okay, okay, that one. Okay, thank you. Yeah, whenever Sachimata offers, Lord comes and takes. Yes. Yes, Shweta Mataji.
Prabhuji, Gajendra and Gajendra Moksha Leela. So
Okay.
Lord appeared before him.
Okay, Gajendra, fine. Soumya Mataji.
Prabhuji Uttara, when she prays to Lord Krishna.
Acha, Uttara.
To
Okay.
save Parikshit Maharaj. Yes.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Okay. Okay, I think we are done. Okay. Yes, Sangeeta Mataji, you can read yet when the personality of Godhead.
Yes, Coach. Yet, when the personality of Godhead comes before us, we neglect him. Such a foolish negligence is condemned by the Lord in Bhagavad Gita 9.11, where he says that the foolish deride him, considering him a mortal being. He is not a mortal being, nor does he come before us with a body produced of material nature. There are many so-called scholars who contend that the Lord descends in a body made of matter, just like an ordinary living being. Not knowing his inconceivable power, such a foolish man places the Lord on an equal levels with ordinary men.
Yeah. So, like Duryodhana, we see that he thinks Lord is just a cowherd boy, and he tries to deride him, he tries to arrest him, and all. So that is the thing. Yes, Mataji, you can continue because he's full of.
Because he is full of inconceivable potencies, God can accept our service through any sort of medium, and he can convert his different potencies according to his own will. Shall I continue?
Yes, Mataji.
Non-believers argue neither that the Lord cannot incarnate himself at all, or that if he does, he descends in a form of material energy. These arguments are nullified if we accept the existence of the Lord's inconceivable potencies. Then we will understand that even if the Lord appears before us in the form of material energy, it is quite possible for him to convert this energy into spiritual energy. Since the source of the energies is one and the same, the energies can be utilized according to the will of their source. For example, the Lord can appear in the form of the Archa Vigraha, a deity supposedly made of earth, stone, or wood. Deity forms, although engraved from wood, stone, or other matter, are not idols, as the iconoclast contend.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so that's what it is important to accept that the Lord can perform the inconceivability of Lord. So then these things can be resolved. Yeah. So the Christians, they say that Lord can incarnate in flesh. Means when Lord descends, he incarnates in flesh. So that's why the word incarnation comes. as that is coined. Carnate means in flesh. So Lord descends in flesh. But they say that Lord should not be worshipped in matter. So that's why they don't do any deity worship. Islam, for them, the Lord is fully spiritual. So he cannot descend in a in as a human being. So and therefore they say, because a spiritual entity we should not ascribe an material form to a spiritual entity. So that's why for them also no deity worship. Like Advaitavadis or Mayavadis, they say deity is an illusion and as a temporary means to focus on Brahman. So they don't accept that deity is also Lord. So that they don't accept. Like Gaudiya Vaishnavas, because we accept the inconceivable and potency of the Lord can come. The Lord descends himself. It's not he comes in a material form. He comes in a spiritual form, but he can make himself visible to us. So that is because he is the Supreme Lord, and he can come in matter in form of Archa Vigraha. Because the material energy is also Lord's energy, so he can manifest in it as per his desire. So Archa Vigraha is also not any matter, not anything, everything is God, but it is a specific matter. It is a specifically the deities are made by following specific procedures, and there are procedures to do prana pratishtha and all. So that is Archa Vigraha. Because some people say that no, God is there in everything. Everything is there, but we should have the consciousness also to see the Lord in that. And Lord is specifically there in the Archa Vigraha. So that is a procedure given by Krishna only to accept service from the living entities. So that's why it is important. Means Archa Vigraha is special. It's not like anything, everything. Okay, so you can think for around again some 3-4 minutes and mention some pastimes of deities. Deities reciprocation with love of the devotees. Different pastimes of deities. Yeah, I can take
Could you scroll up? I just wanted to see that above.
Which one? This one. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. One second.
Okay. So yeah, this question is there. So you can think for some 3 minutes, then we'll discuss. Okay, Anish Prabhu, you can answer. Yes.
Tota Gopinath sat down for Gadadhar Pandit. Like he sat down the deity.
He sat down. Yes, thank you. Yes, Vidita Mataji.
Radharaman Lal.
What is the past time? Acha, its
It's
appearance.
Radharaman is the self-manifested deity of
Okay.
Gopal Bhatt.
Okay, appearance. Okay. Ambarish Pran Prabhu.
Deity of Vadra Swami in Kanchipuram, famous for reciprocating with Kanchipunda.
Okay, Kanchipunda answers these questions and everything. Talks. Yes, Jiva Jagatak Matan.
Prabhuji, Sakshi Gopal.
Okay, Sakshi Gopal. Yes, Teja Mat.
Prabhuji, Khirchor Gopinath, where
Khirchor
the Lord comes as a witness for.
No, that is Sakshi Gopal. Kirchur
Yeah, that is Sakshi
Lord
Gopal.
steals for.
Yes, steals the key.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, Balraj Prabhu.
Lord Jagannath in Jagannath Puri.
Okay, any specific pastime?
I think so. The Kalevaram part, like that is very famous. When the Lord appears in the dream of the.
Achha.
So that.
Okay.
And a lot of other pastimes also.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Yes, Shweta Mataji.
Prabhuji, Madan Mohan and Sanatan Goswami. So Madan Mohan asks for salt, like give me some salt along with the roti. So that.
Okay, thank you. Sandeep Prabhu.
True, Madan Mohan and the Princess of Karoli, when the marriage happens and Madan Mohan bends his flute.
Absolutely. Yes, Mahadev Keshav Prabhu.
Prabhuji, in Maharashtra, the Sant Namdev Maharaj feeds the Lord Vitthal.
Lord Vitthal. Okay. Thank you. Ashish Prabhu.
I forgot the name of that kid, the devotee kid, who offered prasadam and waited that until you eat, I will not eat. So Lord did not even first, I think, his request. Then he said that until you will not eat, I will not go back and my mother will not have prasadam.
Okay.
I think the father name was Jagannath. I don't know the name of
his name is Raghunandan Thakur. His
Yeah.
father is Mukunda. Okay, thank you. Nice. Sangeeta Mataji.
Karmabai and Lord Jagannath.
Achha. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So we see that how Lord reciprocates in the deity form. Okay. Okay, we'll watch a short video in Sakshi Gopal.
Once upon a time, one young Brahmin and one old Brahmin from the village Vidyanagar in South India went to visit Vrindavan in North India for a pilgrimage and visited Gopala temple. The young man, out of love and respect, had rendered menial service to the elderly man, ensuring that he felt no inconvenience from the pains of the journey. The elderly Brahmin was so grateful for this reverential attitude which he had never encountered even from his own family members. Therefore, he announced his intentions to hand over to the young Brahmin his daughter in marriage. The young man immediately objected. "Sir, I have rendered this service to you only for the satisfaction of Lord Krishna, for the Lord is pleased by the service rendered to the Brahmins. In any case, I am not at all a suitable bridegroom for your daughter. You are well educated and very rich, whereas I am without a decent education and have no wealth. Furthermore, your wives and sons will certainly never agree to it. The elderly Brahmin insisted, My dear boy, I will give you my daughter, and I will neglect the positions of others. Don't doubt me in this regard. Just accept my proposal. The young Brahmin replied, If you really have decided to give your young daughter to me, then say so before the Gopala deity. In those days, it was the custom to honor any promise made in front of the deity, and in any village, matters of dispute would always be settled in the temple, for no one would dare to tell a lie before the deity. So entering the temple of Lord Gopala and coming before the deity, the elderly Brahmin said, My dear Lord, please bear witness that I have given my daughter to this boy. Then the young Brahmin addresses the deity and said, My dear Lord, you are my witness. I shall call for you to testify if it is necessary later on. Weeks passed by and eventually the two Brahmin arrived back in Vidyanagar, both going to their respective homes. After a while, the elderly Brahmin remembered his promise, and with some anxiety, he called together all the relatives and friends and narrated them what had taken place in front of the Gopala deity. They were all very disappointed. They said, When people hear of this, they will make jokes and laugh at us. If you give your daughter to that boy, we shall give up all the connections with you. Indeed, his wife and son even threatened to commit suicide. The elderly Brahmin said, How can I undo the promise I made in a holy place? If I do not offer my daughter to the young Brahmin, he will call Gopala as a witness. His son replied, The deity may be a witness, but he is in a distant country. How can he come to bear witness against you? Simply say that you do not remember what you said, and I shall take care of the rest. The next day, the young Brahmin came to the house of the elderly Brahmin, but his son took a stick and chased him. The young Brahmin then called the villagers, and they in turn summoned the elderly Brahmin to their meeting place. This gentleman promised to hand over his daughter to me in marriage. When the elderly Brahmin told that he could not remember of what had taken place, his son stood up and said, While touring various holy places, my father carried much money. Seeing the money, this rock decided to take it away. He gave my father poison to eat, which has made my father mad. After taking his money, now he claims that my father promised to give him his daughter. Doubt entered the minds of the villagers, and the young Brahmin protested his own innocence. I told this gentleman that I was not a fit husband for his daughter, but he insisted. He made his promise in front of the Gopala deity, and I have asked the Supreme Lord to be my witness. The elderly Brahmin immediately said, If Gopala personally comes here to bear witness, I shall surely offer my daughter to the young Brahmin. The son also agreed. We should note that whereas the elderly Brahmin was hopeful that Gopala would actually come and thereby uphold the promise he had made, the atheistic son thought it is not possible for Gopala to come and bear witness. Thus both the father and son were in agreement. With full faith in Gopala, the young Brahmin started at once for Vrindavan, and upon his arrival, he narrated everything in details to the deity. My dear Lord, I am not thinking of becoming happy by getting the daughter as a bride. I am simply thinking that the Brahmin has broken his promise, and this is giving me great pain. You are very merciful, and you know everything. Therefore, kindly be a witness in this case. Lord Krishna spoke. I have never heard of a deity walking from one place to another. The Brahmin replied, That is true, but if you can speak, then you can also walk. The Lord Gopala smiled and said, My dear Brahmin, just listen to me. I shall walk behind you, and in this way, I shall go with you. Do not try to see me by turning around. As soon as you see me, I shall remain stationary in that very place. You will know that I am walking behind you by the sounds of my ankle bell. Cook 1 kilo of rice daily and offer it to me. I shall eat that rice and follow behind you. The next day Brahmin started for his country, and Gopala followed him step by step. Brahmin became very pleased to hear the tinkling sound of Gopala's ankle bells, and every day he cooked first-class rice for Gopala to eat. The Brahmin walked and walked in this way until he eventually arrived outside his village. Then he thought, I shall go to my home and tell all the people that a witness has arrived. Thinking this, he turned to look back and saw that Gopala was standing there smiling. The Lord said, Now you can go home. I shall stay here and shall not leave. When the townspeople heard of Gopala's arrival, they were struck with wonder. They went to see Lord and offered their respectful obeisances. Everyone was very pleased to see Gopala's beauty. Thus, in the presence of townspeople, Lord Gopala bore witness that the elderly Brahmin had indeed offered his daughter to the young Brahmin. Soon afterward, the marriage ceremony was duly performed. When the king of the country heard of this wonderful story, he also came to see Gopala and constructed a nice temple for the Lord. He is still visible for all to see and is famous as Sakshi Gopala.
Okay. Yeah, Lord, of course, reciprocates. Deities reciprocate in that way also. But the main purpose of deity is to offer the devotees an opportunity to service. And as one does that service, like offering boga and singing arati and decorating the deity, so one will be internally purified, and one will the attraction to serving the deity will increase. So that is a more important thing. But yeah, these pastimes may happen, but that may happen mainly for advanced devotees, but not for sadhakas. Yes, Sangita Mata, you can read in our present state of imperfect.
Yes, Prabhuji. In our present state of imperfect material existence, we cannot see the Supreme Lord due to imperfect vision. Yet those devotees who want to see him by means of material vision are favored by the Lord, who appears in a so-called material form to accept his devotee's service. One should not think that such a devotees who are in the lowest stage of devotional service are worshipping an idol. They are actually worshipping the Lord who has agreed to appear before them in an approachable way. Nor is the archa form fashioned according to the whims of the worshipper. This form is eternally existent with all paraphernalia. This can be actually felt by a sincere devotee, but not by an atheist.
Yeah, so the deity forms, they are made as per the descriptions given in the Shastras. The Lord has a threefold bending form, the Lord has flute, he has large eyes, all those things. And so that way Lord wears dhoti. So the worship is also done as per the descriptions given in Shastras. And it's not Lord is present in the deity, Lord is the deity. So that way it is there. So yes, Mataji, you can continue in the Bhagavad Gita.
In the Bhagavad Gita 4.11, the Lord says that how he treats his devotee depends on the devotee's degree of surrender. The Lord reserves the right not to reveal himself to anyone and everyone, but to show himself only to those souls who surrender unto him. Thus, for the surrendered soul, he is always within reach, whereas for the unsurrendered soul, he is far, far away and cannot be approached. ये यथा मां प्रपद्यन्ते तं तथैव भजाम्यहम्.
Yes, continue. You can continue.
In this connection, two words, the revealed scriptures often apply to the Lord. Saguna with qualities and Nirguna without qualities are very important. The word Saguna does not imply that when the Lord appears with perceivable qualities, he must take on a material form and be subject to the laws of material nature. For him, there is no difference between the material and spiritual energies because he is the source of all energies. As the controller of all energies, he cannot at any time be under their influence as we are. The material energy works according to his direction. Therefore, he can use that energy for his purposes without ever being influenced by any of the qualities of that energy. In this sense, he is nirguna without qualities. Nor does the Lord become a formless entity at any time, for ultimately he is the eternal form, the primeval Lord. His impersonal aspect or Brahman effulgence is but the glow of his personal rays, just as the sun's rays are the glow of the sun god.
Yeah, okay, just a minute. So there are means Lord is described as Nirguna generally in Upanishads and all, and is also described as Saguna. But Saguna means it is spiritual qualities, not material qualities. It's not that when Lord incarnates in this world or he comes as a deity or something, he adopts material qualities, but he has the same spiritual qualities only. Yeah, deity form, he is spiritualizing that matter. So he could accept service from that. But when Lord is incarnating, it's not he's adopting material qualities, he has the spiritual qualities. And Lord is nirguna in that sense that he does not possess any material qualities. So that way, it's not if Lord, the fact that the Lord can accept service of devotees through deity, which is apparently made of matter, it does not make that Lord has become material. Because Lord is Supreme Lord, he can use material energy to act, and still he does not become material. So that is possible for the Lord. Yes, Mataji can read. When the child sent.
When the child Saint Prahlad Maharaj was in the presence of his atheist father, his father asked him, "Where is your God?" When Prahlad replied that God resides everywhere, the father angrily asked whether his God was within one of the pillars of the palace. And the child says yes. At once, the atheist king shattered the pillar in front of him to pieces, and the Lord instantly appeared as Narsimha, the half man, half lion incarnation, and killed the atheist king. Thus, the Lord is within everything and he creates everything by his different energies. Through his inconceivable powers, he can appear at any place in order to favor his sincere devotee. Lord Narsimha appeared from within the pillar, not by the order of the atheist king, but by the wish of his devotee Prahlad.
Okay, thank you. So here basically Prabhupada is addressing the second contradiction, tad dure tad vantike, that the Lord is very far, but he's also very near. That the Lord can become very near in the form of the deity incarnation, as incarnation in the deity. So that way Lord is very near also, and Lord is very far also. And again, Prabhupada is clarifying that the Lord does not become near because of an atheist, but because of the devotion, because of being attracted by the devotion of the devotees. Yes, Mataji, you can continue. An atheist.
An atheist cannot order the Lord to appear, but the Lord will appear anywhere and everywhere to show mercy to his devotee. The Bhagavad Gita 4.8 similarly states that the Lord appears in order to vanquish non-believers and protect believers. Of course, the Lord has sufficient energies and agents who can vanquish atheists, but it pleases him to personally favor a devotee. Therefore, he descends as an incarnation. Actually, he descends only to favor his devotees and not for any other purpose.
Okay.
The
Yeah, so this is basically like yes, the Lord can basically the main Lord can annihilate the demons that yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. So for that, Lord can do through his energies also, annihilating demons. But especially his devotees feel separation from the Lord, so they want to personally serve the Lord. So for that, Lord descends as incarnations, as different avatars, as Krishna, Rama, and all. So that is the main reason behind Lord descending. So this contradiction, Taddure, because Lord is far in the spiritual world, but he is also near in the form of deity. So in that way, it is resolved in the Lord. Yes, Mataji, you can continue. Next, third contradiction, Prabhupada is addressing.
Lord is in spiritual world, but Lord is near to us as deity. In the Brahma Samhita 5.35, it is said that Govinda, the premier Lord, enters everything by his plenary portion. He enters the universe as well as all the atoms of the universe. He is outside in his Virat form and he is within everything as Antaryami. As Antaryami, he witnesses everything that is going on and he awards us the results of our actions as karmafal. We ourselves may forget what we have done in previous lives. But because the Lord witnesses our actions, the results of our actions are always there, and we have to undergo the reactions nonetheless.
So this Lord is present in everywhere in the form of Paramatma as Antaryami. So this is the third contradiction, that Lord is inside everything and is outside of everything. So he is inside everything as Antaryami, and he is outside of everything as Lord in the spiritual world, because everything outside material world he is there that way. So that way this thing is also resolved. So yeah, Prabhupada is referring to this, no, this shloka which tells that Lord is present in everything as an Antaryami. Ekopyaso rachayitum jagadanda koti yatshaktirasti jagadanda chaya yadanta andantarasta paramanu chayantarastam govindamadi purusham tamham bhajami. He is an undifferentiated entity, as there is no distinction between potency and the possessor thereof. In his work of creation of millions of worlds, his potency remains inseparable. All the universes existing in him, and he is present in his fullness in every one of the atoms that are scattered throughout the universe at one and the same time. Such is the primeval Lord whom I adore. So this is the contradiction. Tad antarasya sarvasya tattu sarvasya bahyata. He is present in everything as Paramatma, and he is outside of everything as Lord in the Goloka. Yes, Mataji, you can read the last paragraph. The fact is
that there is nothing but God within and without. Everything is a manifestation of his different energies, like the heat and light emanating from a fire. And in this way, there is a oneness among his diverse energies. Although there is oneness, however, the Lord in his personal form still enjoys unlimitedly all the pleasures enjoyed minutely by the tiny part and parcel living entities.
okay. Thank you. Yeah, again, it's not like Lord is diluted or something. They are energies, and Lord is present as Paramatma, but still he is also in the form of Bhagavan, and there he performs his pastimes. Okay, so on these two verses, any questions? Anything? Okay, if there are no questions, then yeah, we will take the next two verses because they are both connected. We will take in the next class. So we have just studied totally the 5 contradictions. Okay, Priya Mataji, question.
Prabhuji, I have one doubt. Last paragraph, first 2 lines. The fact is that there is nothing but God within and without. Everything is a manifestation of his different energies, like the heat and light emanating from a fire. So, Prabhuji, is this a kind of Advaitavad philosophy?
No. So Prabhupada has resolved, na? So in form of his energies, everything is divine, means like that. Like whatever is there in the material world, like all the elements and all, these are all energies of the Lord, na?
Correct.
So that way. But yeah, what Advaitavad philosophy says is everything is Brahman, they say. But the Vaishnavas say everything around is energy of the Lord. But Lord is also present in that energy as Paramatma. So these both are different. Lord present everywhere, he is present as Paramatma.
Okay.
But the other means the other things like the matter which we see, that is they are of energies of the Lord. So these both are different.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Is it okay? Or?
Yes, Prabhuji. So we say, Vaishnava says that whatever we see, like it is the energy of the Lord, not himself.
Yeah, not Lord himself, exactly.
Lord himself. And what Advaitavadis say, Prabhuji?
They say everything is Brahman, everything is Lord.
Okay.
So that is going to come in the few next slokas where we'll discuss. Like they say, when Brahman comes in contact with mode of goodness, incarnations are produced. And when Brahman comes in contact with mode of passion, then the human beings are produced. And when Brahman comes in contact with mode of ignorance, then the inert matter is produced, like the gross elements are produced.
Yeah, but still, this first line, I am still little confused. That fact is that there is nothing but God within and without. So
I'm saying sometimes the energy of God can be called as God.
Okay.
So that way we resolve it.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Means because the energy is also non-different from the Lord, no? In qualitatively it is same, but not in quantity. So that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. To differentiate, at least we should know. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, so if there are no other questions, so we saw 5 contradictions. First is Lord is staying in one place, but no one can know him. The answer is because we have material senses and we are under the influence of material energy, and ultimately Lord is unlimited. So only by his desire, so that way he is inconceivable, and only by his desire we can know him. So by our own endeavors we cannot know him through speculation and analysis. So that is the first. Second is Lord is at one place, but he is controlling everything. So that answer is he's controlling through his energies. So an analogy like some owner of a factory controls through and monitors and all. So if it is possible for a finite being, for a Lord it is obviously it is possible. And Prabhupada discusses the energies, material, spiritual, marginal, all that things. Then in the third shloka, first is Lord walks and does not walk. So that is an inconceivable inconceivability of the Lord. And and then the second is Lord is very far and Lord is very near. So Lord is very far in Goloka and Lord is very near in form of Archavigraha. And then the third is Lord is outside of everything and Lord is inside everything. So outside of everything, he is there in the Goloka and he is inside of everything in the form of Param. Okay, so thank you very much for your attention. And Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Ishopanishad ki jai. Thank you.
The attendance link can be sent. Anish Prabhu.
I've shared it on the group and I shared it here as well. ग्रुप पे देख सकते हैं